In an underground arena in Bangkok, Thailand, a young boy was about to fight a savage man-eating bear to the death before the eyes of the crowd. The giant bear tore open his forehead with a single swipe of its claw, yet the boy endured the pain and climbed to the top of the steel cage. Unexpectedly, he locked the bear's neck in a rear naked choke. But the bear leveraged its massive weight to violently hurl the boy away. A brutal swipe of its paw left him unable to rise. Seeing the defenseless boy, the bear opened its bloody maw. Bitten to the brink of death, the boy fell into memories. His name was Akari, living in 2619 AD, to cure his childhood friend Yuriko, who suffered from a mysterious illness. Akari was forced to join this dark and brutal fighting tournament. Upon recalling Yuriko's smile, the critically wounded Akari erupted with renewed combat power, propelled by genetic evolution. Akari leaped up and tore the giant bear to shreds with terrifying strength. He achieved this incredible victory, and this scene was witnessed by two mysterious individuals. However, the tournament organizers deceived Akari. They never expected Akari to survive, so they had already sold Yuriko to the two mysterious spectators who watched Akari's fight. Akari then confronted the mysterious figures to settle the score. They regretfully informed him that Yuriko had died. It turned out Yuriko was infected with an alien virus called AE, with a 100% fatality rate. The mysterious individuals stated they had spared no effort but still failed to save her life. However, they invited Akari to help others suffering from the same disease as Yuriko. It turned out that these two mysterious individuals belonged to the United Nations Space Agency. To combat this alien virus, they planned to fly to Mars soon. The man was the Mars exploration team leader, Komachi, and the woman was deputy leader, Michelle. They extended a collaboration proposal to Akari. For Yuriko and for the sake of justice in his heart, Akari accepted Komachi's invitation. He was taken to the UN Space Agency headquarters and underwent full-body organ remodeling. Komachi informed them that for ordinary people, the survival rate of the remodeling surgery was at most 36%. Alongside Akari, 4 companions also underwent the procedure. The Mexican trio Marcos, Alex, and Sheila, as well as Eva, a German girl brought by Adolf, an official from another department. The Mexican trio attempted to curry favor, but Adolf arrogantly refused to acknowledge them. After all, nobody knew if they could even survive the surgery. After Adolf left, Akari successfully completed the remodeling surgery and emerged. Marcos and Alex asked how the procedure felt, but Akari stated that his physique naturally gave him a higher success rate. However, Marcos and Alex thought Akari was boasting and mocked him. Subsequently, Michelle briefed them on the mission. This extraterrestrial journey aimed to collect ecological samples from Mars to develop a vaccine for the alien virus, thereby saving humanity from extinction. The crucial reason why organ remodeling was required for this work was due to anticipated interference during the mission. It turned out a bizarre creature existed on Mars, a strange-looking giant cockroach. 500 years ago, humans introduced these cockroaches along with a special algae to Mars for colonization. Unexpectedly, over those 5 centuries, the cockroaches evolved into their current muscled humanoid form. Whenever humans set foot on Mars, they would kill all intruders. 41 years ago, humanity dispatched 2 exploration teams to Mars, both killed by the cockroaches. After hearing this, Akari was shocked. This journey was equivalent to a war. Time flew to the year 2620 AD. Under Captain Komachi's leadership, a rocket carrying 100 crew members launched into space. The Mars exploration mission codenamed Plan A officially commenced. The spacecraft required 39 days to reach Mars. During this period, the crew enjoyed their lives. Sheila and Eva became close friends. They often discussed topics of romance. Eva immediately noticed Sheila harbored feelings for Commander Komachi and encouraged her to confess. However, the shy Sheila couldn't bring herself to speak up. Yet luck in romance tends to balance out. Once, when a near riot nearly erupted on board, a Russian youth stopped the fight by taking a punch to the face. The kind-hearted Sheila bandaged his wounds, causing the Russian boy named Ivan to fall for her at first sight. But the happy times didn't last long. As the day to land on Mars approached, Akari planned to peek into the women's bathhouse with Marcos. Peering through the door crack, they saw a girl inside staring intensely at them. Just as Akari was about to apologize, A giant cockroach suddenly appeared, startling him. He barely dodged its attack with all his strength. Simultaneously, several cockroaches emerged throughout the spacecraft and began slaughtering unprepared crew members. Instantly, the entire fleet descended into chaos. The Martian cockroaches possessed immense strength due to mutation, capable of crushing human heads barehanded or even ripping out spinal columns with their hands. Their exoskeletons were extraordinarily tough, rendering ordinary bullets ineffective. Modified crew members needed injections of a special drug to gain combat capability. Only Akari and Deputy Commander Michelle were exceptions, not requiring injections to use their abilities. Thus, Michelle rushed to intercept the Martian cockroach, ordering Akari and Marcos to head to the storage room at all costs to secure the drug. However, when Akari opened the warehouse door, they saw the precious drugs already scattered across the floor. 2 Martian cockroaches were rampaging inside. The horrifying scene stunned Akari and Marcos. At that moment, Commander Komachi notified Earth that Plan A had failed. However, Earth headquarters expressed indifference. They insisted the mission must succeed and ordered Komachi to activate the backup plan. Hearing this, Komachi was extremely angry. He suspected Earth headquarters members had been bribed. Their spaceship was outside the Martian atmosphere, so the appearance of Martian cockroaches inside must have been an inside job. Yet after voicing his suspicions, Komachi still activated the backup plan as instructed. The spacecraft began an emergency descent straight towards Mars. Simultaneously, under his command, top fighters from around the world joined the battle. German martial artist Adolf, Chinese martial artist Liu Yiwu, Russian martial artist Asimov, and Roman Federation martial artist Joseph. Together with Komachi and Michelle, they engaged 6 Martian cockroaches in single combat. After injecting the backup drugs, their combat power instantly overwhelmed the cockroaches. Michelle made one cockroach vomit blood with a single punch. Asimov effortlessly twisted off another cockroach's neck. Joseph even saved the terrified Ava and split a Martian cockroach in 2 with one strike, ending the crisis within the cabin. Komachi gathered the remaining crew. According to the backup plan, they would abandon the main spacecraft and land on Mars using escape pods. Komachi divided the crew into 6 teams, led by the 6 fighters who had just slain the Martian cockroaches. All teams were to establish radio contact after landing and regroup at the crash site. Due to the grouping, Akari had to part with some of his friends. Everyone bid farewell and boarded the escape pods. Akari belonged to the 2nd unit led by Michelle. Teammates included his good friend Alex. Their fighter jet easily broke through the cockroach swarm and shook off pursuing enemies after some flight. Thus, Akari set foot on Martian soil. After centuries of terraforming, Mars had surprisingly become a vibrant and full of life planet. Modified crew members could breathe normally without spacesuits. But not all units were as fortunate as them. As Joseph's 6th unit descended, they were caught by an enormous net head-on. Consequently, their aircraft crashed into a valley. Soon, countless Martian cockroaches poured in from cliffs on both sides, surrounding them. Immediately upon setting foot on Mars, they faced a deadly crisis. Meanwhile, Asimov's 3rd unit, composed of Russians, landed near a pyramid. Crew members were about to disembark and investigate. The sudden attack by the Martian cockroach took everyone by surprise. Asimov lost an arm while trying to save a teammate. Yet even then, he intended to save medical supplies. He ordered a female teammate to produce a bug gun. They planned to capture the Martian cockroach alive. Seeing this, the Martian cockroach immediately charged toward the female teammate. Confidently, the female teammate pulled the trigger. But the very next second, the Martian cockroach ripped her head clean off. This shattered the Russian youth. Ivan, the female teammate, was his biological sister. Meanwhile, Komachi's 1st unit, after crash landing, established contact with Earth. The rescue team dispatched by Earth would arrive on Mars in 40 days. He therefore urged his teammates to survive these 40 days. What they didn't know was that a Martian cockroach was perched atop the spacecraft at that very moment. Possessing immense strength, the Martian cockroach shattered the shuttle's bulletproof glass with a single punch. It wasn't just strength, their intelligence was absurdly high. Facing 3 human combatants, the Martian cockroach chose to turn and flee. Just as Komachi and the other 2 were baffled, another flying cockroach seized the chance to pounce onto the top of the aircraft. Tearing open the glass, it forced its way inside. The non-combat personnel aboard trembled with fear. At the critical moment, Sheila, equally terrified, stepped forward. Her bug gun aimed at the cockroach's head. A single net shot successfully captured it. Her courage earned praise from Captain Komachi. But the trapped cockroach suddenly stood up. High-temperature gas sprayed from its palm instantly pierced through Sheila. Marcos was the first to react. Enraged, he smashed its skull open, but it was too late. Sheila was beyond saving. In her dying moments, she lay in Captain Komachi's arms, wanting to convey her feelings to him, yet her fatal wounds prevented any sound. Sheila thus died in regret. The reason Martian cockroaches possess superpowers traces back to humanity's execution of Plan B for Martian exploration years ago. At that time, crew members underwent bug surgery performed by a doctor. Consequently, the entire crew acquired insect abilities. That mission ended in near-total annihilation. The Martian cockroaches utilized their corpses to gain special abilities. Now, the modifications received by the Plan A crew represent a higher level than Plan B. Their acquired abilities will not be limited to insects. Marcos was the first to act. He shattered a cockroach's head with a single knee strike. His power originates from the huntsman spider, a predator of cockroaches. Therefore, after injecting the drug, he gained strength and speed overwhelming to Martian cockroaches. Marcos slaughtered cockroaches while weeping tears. He sought vengeance for Sheila's death. Amidst roars, Marcos was plunged into memories. Before coming to Mars, Marcos and Alex were workers living at Lady Sheila's mansion. They only knew how to fight and cause trouble daily. It was Sheila's kindness that helped them reform. Thus, the bond among the three was very close. But one day, rioters burned down Sheila's mansion. All three were left homeless. Later, they met again at the United Nations Space Agency. So they came to Mars together. Sheila's death left Marcos distraught with grief. He vented this pain upon the Martian cockroaches. With Captain Komachi's help, the first unit quickly escaped the danger. Simultaneously, the second unit found itself surrounded by Martian cockroaches. Squad leader Michelle immediately injected the drug to engage. She succeeded in overpowering a cockroach in a contest of strength. With a headbutt, she sent it flying. The fallen cockroach attempted a sneak attack. Suddenly, the cockroach's face swelled and it exploded. It turned out Michelle has unique genetics. Her father participated in Plan B, gaining the immense strength of the bullet ant. Michelle inherited her father's ability, while also acquiring the exploding ant ability during modification. Therefore, she is a dual ability user. Like Michelle, Akari with unique physique also injected the drug. A silk thread emerged between his claws. Enhanced by Akari's superb martial arts skills, he soon bound 2 cockroaches. A third cockroach attempted a swift attack, but had one leg disabled by Akari's thread, completely losing combat capability. Akari's ability originates from the bagworm moth, the creature with the strongest natural silk. Through their combined efforts, he and Michelle swiftly exterminated the cockroaches. Michelle went to the river to wash, but a cockroach emerged from the water and seized her. Akari tried to grab her, but was a split second too late. Michelle was forcibly dragged into the river by this aquatic cockroach. Simultaneously, a cockroach with extreme leaping ability landed heavily on the aircraft's roof. Seeing this, Alex immediately took the drug but was kicked away. Instead of pursuing, the cockroach ripped off the windshield beneath its feet and actually flew the plane away. This terrified the researchers aboard. Just as the cockroach prepared to attack them, Alex hurled a stone from afar, breaking its ear. Several silk threads also bound its jaws. Akari's first action upon reaching the plane was to eject all researchers using the ejection seats. He wrapped silk threads around them, and Alex, possessing avian flight ability, caught them for landing. With no further worries, Akari could finally fight freely, but a reversal came quickly. He was beaten until his eyes rolled back by the leaping cockroach. As the cockroach turned to stop the plane, a thunderous crash erupted behind it. Desperation had triggered Akari's red-eye state, elevating his combat prowess. With a single kick, he shattered the cockroach's tough exoskeleton. Simultaneously, Michelle struggled desperately in the water. Without the drug's enhancement, she could only rely on brute force. But this aquatic cockroach was highly aquatic. Michelle had barely broken free when it seized her again. By now, the oxygen within Michelle was nearly depleted. Seeing no chance of victory, she clamped down fiercely on one of the cockroach's legs, determined to immobilize it a little longer before she suffocated completely. Yet at that very moment, a silk thread extending from the plane pulled her out of the water. This thread was tied by Akari before she fell in, and now it finally served its purpose. Seeing Michelle rescued, Akari knocked the cockroach out of the plane with a spare part. The cockroach in midair attempted to fly using its wings, but Alex, a baseball expert, shattered a wing with one throw. When Michelle regained consciousness, she found herself still tightly clamping the cockroach's leg. She immediately snapped its arm. Just then, the leaping cockroach dropped from the sky, landing before her. Akari also arrived in time. The two worked together and successfully captured it. Thus, the second unit's first battle ended in a decisive victory with full survival. Simultaneously, the third unit, composed of Russians, also battled Martian cockroaches. Facing the encroaching enemies, Asimov first knelt to apologize to the youth Ivan. He blamed the death of Ivan's sister on his own flawed decision-making. Then he ordered everyone to inject the drug. If there was a unit entirely composed of combat members, it had to be the third unit formed by the nation of warriors. Asimov's ability originated from the Emperor Crab, granting him the hardest outer shell. He could withstand cockroach attacks completely unscathed. The Emperor Crab also bestowed powerful regenerative abilities. His severed right hand regenerated instantly. A single punch could shatter a Martian cockroach's jaw. Under his command, the third unit members utterly crushed the Martian cockroach swarm. Asimov had just dealt with one cockroach and turned to check on Ivan. Yet, in a moment of distraction, Asimov was instantly killed. The other members perished horribly on the spot. The victorious cockroach tried to seize the third unit's aircraft, but found its fingers unable to exert any force. It turned out everything had been an illusion. The source of this illusion was Ivan's ability, Datura. The poor cockroach witnessed grotesque scenes within the illusion, experiencing fear for the first time in its life. Fleeing in panic, it was forcibly pinned to the ground and killed by Ivan. In this battle, aside from Ivan's sister, all other third unit members survived. Led by Asimov, they prepared to explore the Martian pyramid before them. In a German secret facility, a young boy underwent a brutal modification program. He was one of millions of lab rats in this institution. To protect these unknown companions, the kind-hearted youth volunteered as the first experimental subject. After enduring endless cruel human experiments, the boy survived. He became the first human to acquire non-insect abilities. This technology was later applied to modify members of Plan A. The grown boy also participated in these modifications. His name was Adolf. Now leading the 5th unit on Mars, they encountered a swarm of Martian cockroaches. Combat member Isabella single-handedly crushed the cockroaches into fragments with sheer strength. After clearing the area, Adolf activated the aircraft. Using radar, he effortlessly navigated around all enemies. But just before takeoff, the escape pod of the 4th unit suddenly appeared and collided with their aircraft without warning. When the 5th unit members recovered from the impact, they found themselves surrounded by hundreds of Martian cockroaches armed with guns. Worse still, the 4th unit's escape pod had been seized by these cockroaches after defeating them. Facing such a dire situation, Adolf decided to intervene. With only himself and Isabella as combat members, they promptly took the drug. Instantly, a thunderbolt struck from the sky. Painful experiments had granted Adolf the electric eel's ability, turning him into a walking power source. 100,000 volts electrocuted the cockroaches until charred. To prevent self-harm from electricity, Adolf's body contained numerous safety mechanisms, leaving him heavily scarred. His weapons were conductive throwing knives. With each thrown blade, countless cockroaches perished under high-voltage currents. Yet just as he fought fiercely, a vehicle approached. Instantly, all Martian cockroaches snapped to attention. A sentient cockroach elder emerged from the vehicle. Under its command, hundreds of cockroaches launched a fierce assault. Combat member Isabella, having taken the drug, transformed into a carnivorous insect and attacked an elite cockroach, only to have the upper half of her body shattered by a single punch from the enemy. Witnessing his comrade's death, Adolf remained expressionless, but his increasingly fierce attacks revealed exceptional rage. Bleeding in battle, Adolf recalled his past. After the experiment succeeded, he gained freedom yet remained under constant surveillance by the mysterious facility. His disfigured face left him alone and solitary at university, with only a girl named Rosa initiating conversations. Gradually, the lonely Adolf befriended her. Encouraged by mutual friends, they visited the zoo for a date and celebrated Adolf's birthday on a midnight bridge. The proactive Rosa kissed him then, overwhelming Adolf, who experienced affection for the first time. They soon married, but lasting happiness eluded Adolf. Shortly after marriage, he discovered his wife cheating behind his back. When confronted, Rosa tearfully apologized. Love and kindness led Adolf to forgive her, only to face more intense infidelity. Just before departing for Mars, Rosa gave birth to a child proven through testing not to be Adolf's. He arrived on Mars burdened by these complex emotions. From the outset, Adolf fought with a singular goal, seeking death. Facing the vast cockroach horde, he exhausted himself repelling another wave of attacks. Yet the cockroach numbers remained virtually unchanged, while Adolf neared death's door. As another assault loomed, 5th Unit members surged forward. Though non-combatants, they bravely advanced to protect their beloved squad leader. Instantly, they suffered heavy casualties. Unit 5 member Eva tried dragging Adolf to retreat, but attracted a cockroach's attention. At the critical moment, another crew member blocked the fatal strike with his body. Simultaneously, the cockroach elder issued orders. Cockroaches raised insect-catching guns, capturing surviving members with nets. As they faced becoming lab rats for Martian cockroaches, the powerless Eva shed tears of despair. Suddenly, a lightning bolt struck Adolf lying on the ground. This electric shock acted as a pacemaker, reviving Adolf to his feet. How could this kind-hearted squad leader allow cockroaches to torment his cherished members? He consumed a massive dose of the drug. This caused the safety mechanisms within him to disintegrate immediately. Yet Adolf endured the excruciating pain of electric shocks, unleashing 100,000 volts once more as he charged into the cockroach swarm. He fought his way to the cockroach elder. Adolf decisively threw 2 knives, but they were blocked by flags wielded by cockroaches guarding the elder. This scenario was within Adolf's calculations. He extended a single finger, and instantly a lightning bolt descended from the sky. The knives embedded in the flags acted as lightning rods. Standing beside them, the cockroach elder was instantly charred inside and out. This strike completely depleted Adolf's strength. He collapsed rigidly onto the ground. Fortunately, the defeat of the cockroach elder caused the other cockroaches to halt their actions. An elite cockroach approached the fallen elder. It forcefully stomped on the elder's chest. The 5th Unit members instantly understood. This was CPR. The maneuver proved effective. The cockroach elder gradually regained consciousness. Under its renewed command, the cockroaches resumed their assault. Adolf's legs now trembled weakly. He couldn't even grip his throwing knives. To protect him, Eva had to shield him with her own body. Meanwhile, directed by the elder, other cockroaches drew their guns. Countless bullets rained down in an instant. Adolf was forced to summon an electric net, overdrawing his life force to block the barrage. Seeing firearms ineffective, the cockroach elder commanded the swarm to pick up stones. Facing a hail of countless flying rocks, all Adolf could do was shield Eva within his embrace. The rocks, hurled with terrifying force, shattered his body. This time, Adolf could not cheat death. He fell to the ground and died on the spot. The cockroach elder attempted to take Adolf's body, but a beeping countdown sound reached its ears. It turned out the mysterious facility, to prevent technological leaks, had installed a self-destruct bomb inside Adolf. The terrifying countdown sent the cockroaches fleeing in panic. The surviving 5th unit members breathed a sigh of relief. Eva clung tightly to Adolf. They were a united family. Dying together was their shared wish. With an earth-shattering explosion, all members of the 5th unit met a heroic end. Squad member Adolf Reinhard was a true hero. His entire life was filled with hardship and betrayal, yet he consistently chose to treat others with kindness. At the same time, the 1st unit was also locked in a fierce battle. Marcos, transformed into a Spider-Man, wielded a steel pipe, smashing stones hurled by Martian cockroaches like playing baseball. Though Marcos possessed great strength and speed, the huntsman spider's weakness was its poor stamina. After several rounds, the stone nearly crushed his head. Fortunately, the 1st unit had ample combat members. Female member Kanako's abilities stemmed from the white-throated needletail. Her razor-sharp wings allowed her to slash through the cockroach horde repeatedly. Squad leader Komachi targeted the leader of these cockroaches. Covering his rear was Keiji, another elite fighter of the 1st unit and a boxer. Among the predominantly socially marginalized members of Project A, one stood out as most suited for this Mars mission, boxer Keiji. Before coming to Mars, Keiji had been a shining star in the boxing ring. Not relying on KOs, he won the World Lightweight Boxing Championship by points. Unsatisfied, he challenged the super lightweight division. Outside boxing, Keiji's life was simple. Every weekend, he sailed to a nearby island to accompany his seriously ill mother living there. Their modest life together was deeply happy, but lasting happiness eluded Project A members. Keiji suddenly developed symptoms of retinal detachment. Treating it piled up debts for his family, yet proved utterly ineffective. As his vision blurred, Keiji had to leave the ring, returning to the island to work as a mail carrier. After his mother's death, his life plunged into despair. Michelle approached him then, inviting him to join Project A. Participation would clear his debts. Keiji cared little for money, but he recalled his mother's words urging him to live the life he desired. This resolve sent him to Mars. He made one request to Michelle. The animal ability gained through his modification must grant him the best dynamic vision. At this moment, Keiji faced an evolved cockroach on Mars. It had gained the exoskeleton of the world's hardest insect, the black stag beetle. Yet Keiji not only effortlessly dodged its attacks but even shattered its armor with a single hook punch. This stemmed from Keiji's ability, the peacock mantis shrimp. This creature possesses not only exaggerated dynamic vision, but also a pair of immensely powerful raptorial claws. For boxer Keiji, it was a perfect match. Relying on this power, he skillfully maneuvered against the black beetle cockroach. But as the stalemate persisted, Keiji's eye disease flared up again. Seizing the opportunity, the black beetle cockroach punched him flying, yet a mere punch couldn't knock Keiji down. Rising again, his right eye temporarily lost vision, placing him at a disadvantage in the fight. However, the reason he reached world champion status by points was his exceptional ability to withstand strikes. Keiji One-Punch Man landed a straight punch that hammered the black beetle cockroach's chest into a concave shape. No matter how it struggled, it could no longer stand up. Round 4, 47 seconds in. Boxer Keiji secured the first KO of his career. Meanwhile, squad leader Komachi encountered a cockroach manipulating silk threads, plunging him into memories. He had participated in Project B's Mars exploration decades ago. Among his crewmates was his childhood friend Nanao, who sacrificed herself during that mission. Nanao possessed the ability of the domesticated silkworm to spin silk, now utilized by this white-haired cockroach. Facing an enemy desecrating his childhood friend's corpse, Komachi attacked without hesitation. His ability, the giant hornet, granted him 2 hardened steel stingers that easily pierced the white cockroach's exoskeleton. Recalling every moment with Nanao, Komachi unleashed his rage with punch after punch until the white cockroach completely lost combat capability. Komachi and Keiji's decapitation operation proceeded smoothly. The cockroach army was nearly annihilated by Marcos and Kanako. But if anyone thinks Martian cockroaches are only this formidable, that's a grave mistake. The third unit, exploring the pyramid, uncovered crucial intelligence. The Martian cockroaches had seized human drones. They dismantled the drones' fuel tanks. Meanwhile, a curtain hung on the nearby wall, displaying detailed intelligence about the entire Mars expedition team, from injected abilities to each unit's landing sites, all meticulously documented. Third unit leader Asimov immediately realized there was a traitor within Project A's Mars expedition. At that very moment, several meteors streaked across the sky. Fuel tanks repurposed as missiles hurtled straight toward the battlefield. A violent explosion obliterated the first unit's position. At the same time, countless Martian cockroaches erupted from underground. Coincidentally, Marcos's medicine effects wore off at that moment. First unit member Anderson attempted to assist, but had one leg severed by a colored cockroach. Other non-combat members suffered heavy casualties instantly. Some were even driven insane on the spot. The first unit was now completely cornered. At the critical moment, a flying metal ball shattered the cockroach's head, precisely thrown by baseball expert Alex. His second unit had finally arrived. Marcos found medicine inside this ball. After consuming it, he regained his animal ability. Adopting a baseball batting stance, he smashed the ball thrown by Alex, instantly obliterating countless cockroaches. As several silk threads drifted by, second unit's main combatant Akari arrived on the battlefield, reuniting with his close comrade Marcos. Elsewhere, the colored cockroach attempted to invade the aircraft but encountered another formidable opponent, second unit leader Michelle. This colored cockroach was a subspecies, the rainbow stag beetle. Though it couldn't match Michelle's bullet ant strength, it possessed optical camouflage for invisibility. Everyone instantly lost track of it. The injured Anderson, despite his severed leg, immediately assisted. His Orca ability provided sonar detection, swiftly locating the target's position amidst the endless swarm of cockroaches. Michelle subdued the rainbow stag beetle with absolute strength, while simultaneously activating her exploding ant ability, instantly obliterating its face. Elsewhere, Alex found his friend Marcos, who knelt and apologized, confessing he failed to protect Sheila. Hearing this, Alex silently punched him, then grabbed him, declaring it wasn't time for tears. Alex urged Marcos to rally and avenge Sheila by slaughtering more Martian cockroaches. Komachi and Keiji also arrived, and the four united to charge into the endless cockroach swarm. Amidst the relentless fighting, Akari's eyes turned crimson with bloodlust. Komachi and Michelle swiftly restrained him. Regaining composure, Akari demonstrated exceptional battlefield wisdom, using silk threads to encase a cockroach subspecies into a cocoon. With the first and second units fighting side by side, the Martian cockroaches retreated steadily. Yet their greatest advantage lay in sheer numbers. Countless cockroaches surged forth like a tidal wave. But the humans on Mars stood united. Each had something to protect. Each had a reason to keep fighting. Thus, even battered and wounded, they refused to halt. For this was the will of Earth's creatures and humanity. Only 36 days remained until Earth's rescue team's arrival, though, for various reasons, it hadn't even departed yet. However, Komachi had an utterly reliable ally on Earth, Hiruma Ichiro, one of only 2 survivors from Project B. Now Prime Minister of Japan, Ichiro was willing to stake his very soul to save these warriors on Mars. Thus concludes the first season of this anime. Its setting is quite fascinating, anthropomorphizing the despised cockroach while setting the battlefield on distant, desolate Mars, creating a compelling sense of inescapable despair. Of course, the first season merely sets the stage. As for how the Project A members will struggle to survive, the identity of their traitor, and the sinister schemes behind it, all these await exploration in Season 2.